Come on with it, baby!
Hello, and thank you for tuning into another edition of the Third and Manageable Podcast, here only on the Do Champions Media Network. I am Pat Bruknis. You can find me on Twitter at Pat_Bruknis. I'm here with the host of the show, Matt Diegert. You can find him on Twitter at Matt Diegert. And I'm also here with Student Body Right. You can find him on Twitter at Student Body Right. Fellas, how you guys doing tonight?
What's going on?
You are muted already.
Am I muted? I think everybody can hear me.
No, hold on.
Yeah, you're muted, but I can hear you.
Unmute the mic.
Oh man. First time in a while.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Oh, we're living over here. A little new mic setup, so it's like a little different for today, but we're having some fun figuring out technology. Now, Pat, real quick, we're debuting a quarter zip here. Do I jack it here? Show it here? It's called professionalism.
Yes.
So what's going on? We got a very good show today. Camp's gearing up soon. We're going to have some of the most historical, important numbers for the Buffalo Bills. We're going to talk about O-line, D-line prep. And then I got a little present for the boys. I'm going to have them answer a lightning round. 10 questions, award some points, and see who is the smartest orangutan at the zoo. So, boys, I think you're ready for this, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, Pat, what's going on in your life? How's Wisconsin?
Oh, it's pretty good. You know, as good as Wisconsin can be, I guess. You know, not for long until I move up to Buffalo. But, you know, the weather's not bad right now. That's a plus.
When does the weather start really turning to the point where we're affecting football? Late November?
I'll say about maybe I would say November. Yeah, late October.
Yeah, once it started really getting crisp, because that is like my favorite football weather. I used to have seats in section 115, and for those first couple games, Matt, when that sun is beating on you, those early September games, it's just like, geez, if I'm outside, I'm sunburned by at least the first media timeout. So it's not the best feeling in the world. So
I can just imagine how those Bills players felt back in Week 3 against Miami.
I know we talk about that a lot, but like I'm so happy we're not subjecting ourselves to that this year. That is, when used right, that is such an advantage. But we went over like something great the other day about like what the NFL has to provide some of these NFL teams when it comes to the cool fans. Any amenity basically the home team has, they do have to subject that to the away team. So they do try to mitigate some of those auxiliary competition enhancers. So I don't even know if that's the best way to put it, but anyway, Matt's like scurrying around, so I'm just rambling. So Matt, did you want to say anything on this podcast today?
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
I will. I'm doing great. Just learning the new audio system we
Can you
have
hear
here. So super excited to have that.
I can hear him.
Great, awesome. Matt, take it away.
So,
But I think I hear him through your mic.
Can you?
Yeah, I think I hear you through student's mic.
Lovely.
This all went to.
All right. How about that?
Now I got you.
Perfect. So like I said, it's trial and error with the new Rodecaster Pro. So, we
bear with us.
trying to work through that here, but yeah. I mean, I'm excited for training camp coming up. We got. I think this is the earliest they've been to training camp in the last few years. I feel like that they report usually around like July 30th, and they're reporting this week.
Yep.
So I'm super excited to see what they have to lay out. I'm super excited to have talk about what we're going to be talking about tonight. And
Now, question for the lads: do the rookies report a day early?
I thought it's like a week early.
Rookies
right?
rookies are already there.
They're there right now.
Wednesday, right?
I thought it was a couple days ago. Maybe it was this Wednesday,
wow.
this last Wednesday, right?
That's what
right.
I mean, like,
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, very, very good. Yeah, it's good, but like they're going from college back to college. I mean, college dorm room life. You got to make that you got to make your accommodations as fitting to your comfort as possible. I mean, I'm sure there's got to be at least a couple of deals with like Extreme Mattress Pro and Serta and stuff like that, because like your rest is most important in training camp. You know,
That is true. That's like you said before. That's the healthiest you're going to be all year.
All that nonsense. So it's good stuff. We like to hear all the the kind of like the little tidbits about like nutrition there. What's popping in terms of they're training on field turf. I don't know if St. John Fisher does have a grass field, so they can alternate it up. I know when I was in college, we like to balance training camp, kind of the training camp dynamic of some practices were on grass, some were on the turf, just to give the body just a little bit of a rest. I know we talked about it last week in terms of the new stadium being grass, and I think that's a little played out. But it is interesting how they do try to mitigate the beating on the body, because you are going through 2, sometimes 3 days when you factor in lifting. So this isn't for the long haul, boys. This is getting the body right. If it's not already, this is like the final tune-up. And when do we have our first bout of competition? What is that first preseason game?
I believe it is July 24th. No, first preseason game. I'm sorry. August 10th against the Chicago Bears. I will be there. That's the plan.
Yeah. When are you guys getting a new stadium out there?
Oh, actually,
Was
they
there some talks
just
of moving it downtown. I don't know if they'll ever get rid of War Memorial, but
actually they are moving it to right across, like right next to where Soldier Field is currently. They already have a whole blueprint how it's going to look. It looks pretty nice, actually. It's going to be a dome for Chicago.
No, that makes sense, man. I mean, that wind whips off that Lake Michigan. It's kind of crazy. I know when I had to go down there for work a couple times, it's just like, man, you get caught in some of the like the South Loop and stuff like that. It's like, holy moly.
I was at the game when we played them on Christmas Eve, when it was like real field -15.
Oh yeah,
that wind was whipping, and then I was there last year, Christmas Eve. That wind is just brutal there. It's just
how far is Detroit from you?
Detroit from me is about, I think it was 8 hours.
Oh, so you're not really even close.
No.
So and Green Bay is not that close either.
Green Bay, I'm 2.5 hours.
So 2.5 hours to what? Chicago 5?
Chicago, yes. Chicago's about 5, and Minnesota's about 2.5 as well.
Damn, I love the Midwest, man.
Oh, so do I. Gonna miss it when I move to Buffalo.
There's nothing like a Juicy Lucy, some cheese curds.
I think it's overrated.
Wow. Okay. For another segment. So we gotta be cool to kind of get into it. Everybody, that's the one thing that is your due right here at Do Champions to report on the numbers you're going to be wearing. Some new number concepts this year. I think what was it? Was it new last year or new this year? Zeros in play. Obviously, they redid the positional concepts between. It used to be out in the heyday, an ineligible number. It was 50 to 79. Linebackers had to wear 50, 60, 70. Now they've done away with that. I mean, me personally, I always thought if you're a defensive lineman or you're a linebacker and you wear an eligible number, you're selfish. I mean, I wore 16, so I'm selfish. That's kind of where that comes from. But we do have 0 this year. 9 times last year. Now we have the big dog this year, Keon Coleman. Wearing that, so we're going to strike that out of play. So if any of you guys pick 0 as a numerically historically important number, I'm going to rule that out. I'm going to play judge and jury here. So if we'll go round table, I know I have 2 ones I feel emphatic about that are 2 historically really important numbers that our athletes have adorned as their time on the Buffalo Bills. We'll do a little round table here. You guys 2 want to rock, paper, scissors? Who goes first?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay. It looks like Mr. Bruknis, you are going first. So, on your list from 0 to 99, give me a number that you feel is one of the most historically important numbers adorned on that field in the time of the Buffalo Bills.
I'll give you my most obvious one, and that's 78, Mr. Bruce Smith. How can you not say Bruce Smith? He's the best pass rusher in NFL history. 200 career sacks. Just a monster. I didn't get to see him when he was a Buffalo Bill, but I've gone back and watched highlights of him. And that guy would just...
You were born after he was a Bill.
Right. Right.
But you are aware that film exists, right?
Yes. Yes. I mean, just
that
it
was
seems like.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Perfect. You can hear me absolutely clearly.
Yep.
Awesome. Somehow I lost my monitoring in my headphone, which is absolutely awesome. I'm happy about that. So 78. It's great. So 78 for Mr. Pat Bruknis. And he's donning that basically on the backs of the greatest pass rusher we've ever seen here in Buffalo, New York. And then swing it to you, Matt. Who do you think, or what number do you think is one of the most historically important numbers to ever don a red, blue, and white jersey, much like Duke champions?
So I was going back and forth as far as whether it would be 17 or 12, right?
Okay.
I don't think Josh is there enough right now to say that the 17 is the most important right now, because you go to 12, Jim Kelly, 4 Super Bowls, 4 multiple AFC championship games. I mean, it's just really, I'm very, very. How many times he's beaten the Dolphins himself? Going up against Dan Marino. So I mean, I know I throw that out there every time, but I have a thing against the Dolphins.
So do I. Who doesn't?
So you're going with 12, huh? Matt, you're going with 12.
Yes.
All right. Well, I would say, yeah, that's a good pick. Joe Ferguson also won number 12. Also a very significant player in the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to go. So we got 12. We got 12 for Maddie. We got 78 for me. I'm going to go out of nowhere. I'm going to go 23. And the reason I'm picking 23 has to do with a lot of people. We have, and we can all do this as a round table. We got Micah Hyde. He wore that number.
Yeah.
Extremely important to the revitalization of this team. Aaron Williams, our boy, come on with it.
Come on with it.
He's historically important to this podcast. He's our boy. Also, Beast Mode wore 23. Kenny Davis from all the Super Bowl years wore 23, as well as Antoine Smith. So for me, 23, just by the robust amount of players that actually wore that jersey, that's it for me. 23 is a really important number for this franchise. To run it back, Marshawn, A. Will, Micah Hyde, Kenny Davis, Antoine Smith. If you're joining 23, they obviously put some trust in you, and it's the MJ. So it's not wearing the 4-5 just to play games with you, just to aim at you. That's a little Jay-Z for you, but Pat, that's also probably before your time. But 23 is my pick. So right now we got Patty with 78, we got Maddie with the 12, and myself with 23. Any honorable mentions that you guys think on this thing? Right now, I think I'm winning. I think I'm torching you fools.
You definitely are.
Oh yeah, you are.
The one that I can think of that's very important.
You guys are such defeatists.
The one that I think is very important to the Bills is probably number 90 with Phil Hansen. He was the guy that, he went in behind Bruce Smith and cleaned up everything. He was very good against the run. So I think that's my honorable mention myself.
Mine is number 13. Stevie Johnson.
Whoa, not just Kelsey. Kelsey was number 90, right?
Yeah.
Who else was number 90? Anybody?
So here's a fun fact for you. So Mario Williams was number 94, but for the previous ones in his career, he wore 90. So
interesting. He doesn't bring up the Bills, but he does have it in his NFL tenure. I like that. So honorable mention for you, Pat. So we got 90 as an honorable mention.
For me, I'm gonna go with. It's more of a recency bias because I actually saw these guys. Number 13 was Stevie Johnson. He was a bright spot for Bills Mafia in the drought era and showed some promise for this Buffalo Bills offense back during the drought years. And Gabriel Davis. I know a lot of Bills fans did not like him, but
Gator Gabe. Shout out to Jesse.
Yeah, Gator Gabe. Yeah, shout out to Jesse. I mean, Gabriel Davis did a lot for us as well. His time here.
Yeah, KJ Hamler wearing it last year. Outside of that, it's I don't know too many other people. who really adorned that number 13, which was cool. I don't think that's the number he wore at the University of Kentucky, is it? Is it, Matt? Do you know?
13? No, no, it is not.
Oh, okay. Well, well, all right. Well, there it is, right there. I mean, I think you're going to find a large contingency of player that actually like switched up their jerseys from college to college to the pros, but yeah. So Pat, did I still have an echo?
Yes.
No, I was wrong. Stevie Johnson did wear 13 in college.
Interesting. He did wear 13 in college.
Man, I am just batting 1,000 with being wrong tonight, man. I am not having.
Yeah, including this microphone setup.
Shout out to Neffy, Gator Gabe.
Yeah. So in pivoting to that, who do you think wins this one, guys? We got 78 as a first round pick for Pat. We got 12 for a first round pick for Matt. 23 for me. 90 and a 13 as an honorable mention. What do you think? Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with you. For the fact, if you gave 2 players that wore number 23.
2? I gave you 5.
Right.
Okay, that's right. You did get 5. Right.
And I can read them back
Yes,
to
I think-
Antoine Smith, Kenny Davis, Micah Hyde, Kamal Whitted, A. Will, and Marshawn Lynch. I think they're fantastic. So we all sound good. That's what Neffy says. Thanks, man. It only costs us a couple grand to sound this non-professional. But we appreciate all the viewers sticking in with us right now. And in this, Pat, I think we wanted to. What do we want to pivot to after this, Pat?
We could go into our one segment that we did have planned, which was there. We still do have some money left in free. We still have some cap left. What player would you want to see the Buffalo Bills bring in?
Matt, do you know how much exactly cap we have left going on right now?
It's 11.375, and you know.
Well, yeah, Matt's right. It's like 11.3.
Yeah. But with a number like that, anything over 10, I never ever pinned it to just signing one player. I think you always want to keep some things in reserve based on those camp injuries, based on just performance-based cuts. I don't see us sinking all of those cap reserves into just one player. So that's why I would probably refrain from seeing, making an Ayuk make sense. You know what I mean? Ayuk just doesn't make sense for me, just because it's too much cap allocation to just one player to get that deal done. I do know we have that number 2 pick that we did not, that we ended up acquiring and stuff like that. That is kind of juicy, but I don't know if Ayuk makes sense, and I know this is kind of hot topic around Bills fans. Matt, I'll start with you. Ayuk, where are you at? Are you in that boat? You out that boat? Are you swimming with it? Are you up current, down current? What do you think about Brandon Ayuk?
So I'm completely against it.
Completely against it, he says.
Yeah. So, and I have a couple reasons for that. So, it'd be great to have somebody like Brandon Ayuk on the team, right? You know, all his catches, his catching ability, yard after catch, everything like that. My problem is you have Curtis Samuel, you have Keon Coleman, you have potentially Chase Claypool, potentially MVS, all those guys, and obviously you're not going to most likely you're not going to re-sign the 1-year guys unless they have a great year, right? So what it comes down to, for me anyways, is what you're going to have to re-sign him for. And you could be talking upwards of $30 million for somebody like Brandon Ayuk, right? So as far as that goes, I am 100% against it. I want to see the Bills start to continue to build through the draft, exactly like they've been doing. They reshape the wide receiver room. So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to for me. Where are you on that, Pat?
For me, I would swim with it. I would be okay with bringing in a Brandon Ayuk for the fact of, I know some Bills fans are not happy with our receiver room. I think our receiver room would be fine without him, but everybody in our receiver room is not used to being the true number one, which I think in this offense we're not going to need a true number one. But let's say
you're talking against having a Brandon Ayuk then, because he would come in and almost be the true number one receiver right away.
Right, but because none of these guys on our current roster are used to being doubled.
No, and
now
I
if you bring
that, but what you just said goes to my argument, because Joe Brady has, like, I don't want to call it positionless offense or whatever you want to call it, but he does not need a number one receiver. You saw it last year is how much Josh was just getting the ball out of his hands to his receivers, and he wasn't needing to use Diggs. He wasn't needing to use Davis. Yeah, it was nice for those guys having big catches. Obviously, Diggs missed the one probably biggest catch that would have sent us, probably put us in the AFC Championship game had that been able to, end in a touchdown. Not saying what happens from there or anything like that. There was still like 6 to 8 minutes left in the game. We could have seen another 13 seconds game where they're scoring 40 something points in the last 5 minutes or whatever it ended up being. So, for me personally, that's where I'm at. Is I truly think that this offense right now, with Josh not needing or having somebody in his ear all the time, I need the ball, I need the ball, I need the ball. When he doesn't have that and he can spread it around, I kind of equate it to, look at how they did with when it was John Brown and Cole Beasley.
That is true, but I mean, the
number one receiver.
That is true, but at the same time, like Neffy said, Ayuk's numbers with Purdy were good. With Allen, it could be great. Why not give Josh Allen another weapon, who's a guy who put up 1,400 yards last year, who's only 25?
See, and I'm perfectly fine with that, but why can't Keon Coleman be that?
I agree with you. I think he can be that, but why put I don't think the Bills are going to throw him into the fire to say, but they kind of are.
Which is fine. He already said that he's not Diggs, he's not Davis. He's going to come in and be Keon Coleman. So when you actually go down and look at it, yes, Ayuk's numbers are great with Purdy. Yes, they are. They can be great with. I'm sorry, they were good with Purdy. They can be great with Allen.
They're good with Purdy.
But, and it's a big one. Why would you take Josh's focus away from running the offense compared to running the offense the way it's meant to be run with all the weapons he currently has? Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman.
Well, if I may, I would like to interject there. The way it's meant to be run, how is it meant to be run? This is a new offense with Joe Brady. Maybe there is inner workings where this can make. I'm just playing devil's advocate, homeboy.
No, and that's perfectly fine, and I get the point, and I'm if he got traded here, I'm not going to be up in arms and be like, oh, they shouldn't have done that, or he's gonna require $30 million. No, that's not where I'm at. I'm just against it on a front where I think that there's more growing that can be done with this team rather than being able to really. I would like to see 3 receivers have 100 receptions, right?
Right.
So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Is for me, it comes down to I'd rather see the ball spread around.
Now, here's a question for you, though. I know you brought it up earlier. You would have to pay Ayuk $30 million. What if you could get him on a deal for maybe 3 years, $60 million, $63 million?
Like I said,
is that still too much?
I'm never gonna hate a move that the Bills make, right? I mean, first and foremost, like beyond third and manageable, I'm a Bills fan. I'm gonna be happy if they go out and traded for if they went and traded for a Devontae Adams or Justin Jefferson or any of those guys. Like,
of course, right.
I'm always going to be for anything like that. Even a Brandon Ayuk, I'm going to be for it. But I am on a personal level, I am against it because I want to see how the offense is going to work with Joe Brady, because you're not going to. You saw what he did in Carolina with. Who was it?
DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, correct?
Curtis Samuel, and then right. No, he's got James Cook here. He's got Dalton Kincaid. He's got Dawson Knox. He's got Keon Coleman. He's got Curtis Samuel. He's got MVS. He's got Chase Claypool. And the list kind of goes on and on. James Cook and Ray Davis. And, it just kind of keeps going on throughout the list. So I think that they have a potential right now to have, with the offense set up the way it is, without somebody demanding the ball and then demanding a contract next year upwards of $30 million, because the assets you're going to have to trade to acquire that asset is going to be very, very large. I'd rather see them keep next year's first round pick. So, because you have guys coming up, you have a Spencer Brown coming up for an extension. You have guys like Dion just re-signed his. I'm just trying to go.
Yeah, Rasul Douglas.
If Connor McGovern doesn't work out for as far as center, you might want to take
Douglas.
Yeah.
So I'd rather them keep that first round pick, that second round pick, that third round pick, and let Brandon Beane continue to build through the draft, and then pick up guys to fill out the roster in free agency. That's really where I'm at personally. Would I hate the move? No, I would never hate a move like that, because you're getting a true proven, I don't want to say proven, but a true potential number one receiver on the team.
Oh, so I don't think what we're considering here is that, hey, Matt, when I'm talking, just mute your mic. Mute your mic.
Yep.
Here's the echo gone. It's got to be gone now.
It is. Keep talking.
Yeah. What I don't think we're considering here, and we don't bring up enough on this podcast, and maybe that's on me, is that Dalton Kincaid had one of the most, if not the most, productive rookie years for a tight end that we have seen. And one of the reasons we know it was so productive is because we're like, is he a tight end? I mean, how many times in this era of football have we seen a player really change the game when we don't know how to classify him? I think that's the whole thing with Deebo Samuel. We don't know how to classify him as a running back, as a wildcat back, as a wide receiver. What do we classify Kincaid, right? A true tight end? No, because he does a lot of wide receiver things. As a scat back, he does some scat back things. I think that's one of the things we do not focus on enough in the podcast, about how much upside we have out of this lad who's just going into year 2. And one of the things I love, and I've said it before on this podcast, I love that he was an FCS guy, right? He was a University of San Diego guy. Now, I played against the University of San Diego when Harbaugh was the coach, when Josh Johnson, who's still in the league, was a quarterback there. Think about all we've done with underdeveloped college prospects, like Spencer Brown, FCS guy, right? With a guy like Greg Rousseau, who was basically 19 years old with braces, underdeveloped, missed a year with COVID, underdeveloped. With an AJ Epinesa, who everybody thought, is he a linebacker? Is he not? That goes back to like the duality of what position do they really play. And they got in that offseason Buffalo Bills weight room and weight training program, and they exploded year 2. We are not talking about Dalton Kincaid enough and general excitement about what he can be, guys. I think we've pivoted too much to the new names and faces. This guy categorically is a new name and face because he can completely transcend in a purely owned Joe Brady offense. That's a Joe Brady baby. He was there when he was drafted. Your thoughts, guys? I mean, I think every single week I'm a dunce for not bringing it up, and I always am like, shoot, in the words of Dennis Powell. Why did I bring this up? But why are we not talking and fired up about Dalton Kincaid in his first year under a pure whole offense that realistically could be tailored more to him?
So, and I'll touch on that real quickly for us. I've never looked away from him and gone to the newer guys or anything like that. I've gone in with it thinking that he's already there. He's going to produce. Josh Allen's going to get him the ball. Let's not worry about somebody who's already going to produce. He's probably going to give you 80 to 100 receptions. He's probably going to give you anywhere from let's say 800 to 1,000 yards, if not more. He's probably going to give you 7 or 8 touchdowns. So, and on top of that, let's talk about him in the red zone. He's going to be a very, very big red zone target for Josh Allen, where he had him last year, but now with that extra year under his belt, having those 9 games with Joe Brady, having the playoff experience, he's and even with Josh and the guys getting together last week to throw together and kind of build that camaraderie before camp, like we talked about last week. So I've never looked away from Dalton Kincaid personally, but I completely understand what you're saying, student. Is we should be celebrating these guys that have been here, the Dalton Kincaid, the Dawson Knox, the James Cook, all these guys that are potentially going to be, are going to be cogs in this offense. And I say cogs because, it really comes down to it. I don't know. It really just, I feel that they're going to be cogs in this offense more than, being the actual driving factor of the offense. So everybody's going to have to work together in the Joe Brady offense to really bring it to the forefront.
You're right, and I'm right there with you, Matt and Student. I think, I'm with Student, we don't talk about Dalton Kincaid enough, but at the same time, I'm right there with you, Matt, where I expect him to be this guy who can put up 100, targets and who can possibly catch maybe 80 of them, 700, 800 yards with 8 touchdowns, especially with Dalton Kincaid hanging out with Josh Allen this whole offseason. I don't think it's far-fetched to say that Dalton Kincaid is going to be Josh Allen's number 1 target this year.
Yeah, and I mean that's really where I'm at right now. Is I truly think he's going to be the number 1 target. Now that's not saying that Bills have a proven wide receiver 1 or anything like that, or a tight end 1 or nothing like that. I really think that I really truly think that that's really going to be the driving factor. Is Dalton Kincaid is going to help drive this offense and be a very, very high important cog in this offense.
I agree. And now back to the Brandon Ayuk thing. If we did not have a Dalton Kincaid in this offense, I would be more for getting a Ayuk. But because we do have Dalton Kincaid, who's going to potentially be Josh Allen's number 1 target, I'm okay with not bringing in another wide receiver. I think Dalton Kincaid is going to play a huge role in this offense.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Hello.
Is
that a little better?
Yeah.
It's Chris Fizell. Okay. So I guess that's you. But Nephew brings up a good point. What do you think they accept? Do they have a choice?
They
had a choice.
Me personally, I would give up.
It comes flat. Yeah, it comes out, flat out that the 49ers have come out and said that they're not trading him. We see that all the time. Oh, we're not trading this.
We're not trading Diggs.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah.
And we understand that. So what is going to entice them enough to be like, oh, he's on his last year of the deal. We can supplement him with a Jennings or anything like that.
Ricky Pearsall that they just drafted in the first round.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I would give up maybe Minnesota 2nd round pick for him, but they would have to eat some of that contract. That's the highest I would go.
That's the game right now.
Yeah.
I mean, getting deals done sometimes is cannibalizing your own balance sheet.
It is.
Sure that
yeah, because I mean, you're kind of staticky now.
Understood.
Yeah, but I tell this to people all the time. If somebody's going to be a pending free agent, don't let them walk for nothing. At least try to get something from that person.
Yeah,
get some sort of assets back.
Things on the table here.
Right. So I mean, I don't think San Francisco really has a choice because I mean he'll sit.
I mean, you always think there's always going to be calls made, guys. There's always going to be calls made. How many calls do you make so you don't seem overly desperate? Because we're not an overly desperate team for this guy. Are we more complete? I don't know. Are we more complete?
I think we're pretty complete right now, but I do think if we bring in an Ayuk, it would just be an extra weapon for Josh.
So we're enhanced. We're not more complete.
Yes.
I like that.
No, I do have a couple teams that are interested in Ayuk.
Well, of course. He's so demanding. He's so dynamic. He's so integral to that 49ers team. That is flat out and done it. And they're doing it with a Purdy. They're doing it with a guy categorically less talented than Josh. Purdy is very good at, third and manageable. But it's not just third and manageable. It's managing an entire game, and it's managing a roster of superstars.
But I do have a question.
Okay. Pose your question, pretty boy.
How much of that success is based off of Kyle Shanahan's offensive scheme? Are they playing well?
No,
I know. Obviously, they're good players.
That question. Mute yourself, please. I don't like that question because they do it to everyone who was involved in that Redskins group. They did it with McVay, right?
Yeah.
They did it with how responsible is Tua in this offense because he's got McDaniel. Everybody who was in that room, it's always shot back to the coaches like they're like the prodigal sons. And it's kind of funny because he is a prodigal son. He is the son of a Shanahan. McDaniels is a Yale guy, categorically a genius. He's in Mensa. Shout out Greg Tomsat. I rage quit the test as Masseri and Matt's laughing. Did you know that? I rage quit the Mensa test.
Yes, you told me that the other day, actually.
Yeah. I got like 12 minutes in, and I was just like, "Yo, f this noise." But he is a prodigal son. But I think it's disingenuous to the coaches aren't playing the snaps. They're not taking all the hits. I don't know.
No, and I do agree with you there.
Question, I hate you.
No, but I mean, I agree with you, but at the same time, I'm sure
Matt's just sitting there. That was a student rant. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not touching that one."
No, but I mean, I agree with you, but at the same time, how much of that team success is because of the head coach's scheme? That's all I'm trying to say. I'm sure it helps. Now, let's say if the San Francisco 49ers had a Ken Dorsey, or if the Miami Dolphins had a Ken Dorsey.
So here's the thing. Here's what I'm gonna bring up about that. As far as that goes, because I'm on the same page you are with that, Pat. Some of these offenses you can plug and play quarterbacks.
Right.
I mean, you can't take a student or a Matt or a Pat off the street. And,
obviously, right.
And then throw us in there and we're gonna do well. That's not what I mean. What I mean
right,
is,
me too.
Look at the quarterbacks that Kyle Shanahan has had throughout his career. And I'm going to pose you this question. Which is more important to his offense? The quarterback or the running back? The only reason I asked that.
Well, who's the running back?
All right, we'll go through it real quick.
You're talking in regards to the Niners, right?
I'm talking all throughout Shanahan history because that this is
but he did it with McCaffrey and he did it with Deebo Samuels.
Right, but he's Deebo Samuel's separate. He's a wide receiver. What I'm talking about is
he?
throughout. Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
He's a versatile
history. He's had what? Coleman. He's had McCaffrey now. He's had his dad had Terrell Davis. Like it's the same. It's that zone scheme running game that is really what it comes down to. That's the crux of the Shanahan offense that is allowing him to run that offense in the best way possible, where you can, yes, they had John Elway. I get that. But who did John Elway not have in the 4 Super Bowls or 3 Super Bowls he was at, or 5 Super Bowls he was at?
Left ACL.
Well, he didn't have the right one either. But what did he not have? He did not have a good running back. They added Terrell Davis to that offense, and they won 2 Super Bowls. Won 2 Super Bowls back to back.
That's a good point. Really good point.
Somebody in this chat fact check that.
I think Matt's right.
I mean, that's Denver Broncos history. I mean, other than the Bills, they were, one of my favorite teams growing up because I was a big fan of Terrell Davis. I mean, I had a Terrell Davis jersey. I loved watching him. I loved watching his 2,000-yard season. I mean, once they added him, they were able to. But here's the thing, though. Once they lost John Elway, it didn't work. So what does that tell you also? That you need some sort of.
I hate that he's backing me into this, and I'm starting to agree with him.
It comes down to the simple fact that they need to have some sort of competent quarterback back there as well. I'm not saying a Josh Allen. I'm not saying, but oh my God, I'd love to see Josh Allen in the Kyle Shanahan offense. Don't get me wrong.
That team might go undefeated.
But I'm talking. You have your second level, your third level type quarterback that can be your Brock Purdy's, your Tua Tagovailoa, that type of quarterback. Because look at Mike McDaniel's running Kyle Shanahan's offense in Miami. A little bit McDaniel, swag on there. As much as I don't like him personally, but what it really comes down to is they need to have in his offense to run that. They need to have at least the competent quarterback play, and then even better running back play.
I mean, look who Miami has right now as their running backs: Raheem Mostert, Devin Achane.
Right.
And look who Sanford has: McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell.
What it comes down to. So, a lot going on there. Yeah.
I think we got a sustainable way to get this mic on.
Bear with us here. New equipment.
So, but I mean, with that being said, Pat, it really, I don't know. I mean, it really kind of.
I mean, we're getting fired up.
Let me ask you a question.
Get turned on a little bit.
Would Miami be in the same position they're currently in if they had Ken Dorsey calling plays instead of Mike McDaniels? Well, it's a hypothetical question. I know that. But
no shit, dude.
Do you think?
Say it again. Repeat it again. I think that's a great question.
No, yeah. If the Miami Dolphins had Ken Dorsey calling the plays, would they still be in the same position they are currently in?
Matt, you first.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think that they would be in a similar situation. I don't think that they would be as good as they are in running the offense that they have. But
that's kind of where I'm at as well. I mean, you can't deny their talent. They still do. They do have good talent.
I'm a guy that thought Ken Dorsey was a scapegoat. Something had to change, in that offense. Something absolutely had to change. We were losing. We were losing where the destination of where we were supposed to go in all this. I think I don't think this is the last time you're going to see Ken Dorsey calling plays in the NFL. Pat,
he's already the OC.
Hate all you want.
He's the OC for Kevin.
Thank you. But I don't think this is the last time you're going to see him call that. Let me rephrase, because that was a sloppy comment. I don't think this is the last time you're going to be seeing Ken Dorsey call that offense of which we saw in the NFL for the Buffalo Bills. I think you're going to see it tailored, but I think that offense is a winner, just not in the place and time of which the Bills were in that season. And that's why you saw him gone. Okay. I think that offense, Ken Dorsey, he's the all-time winningest quarterback in the NCAA. You know, I don't think you're going to see that style of offense go away. And I don't know. We're rooting for the guy. I don't think there's any malice in Ken Dorsey's time in the Buffalo Bills. Does anybody have any malice for his time shared in Buffalo?
No.
Yet we unceremoniously let him go mid-season. I mean, to cut somebody and to make that a macro of a change mid-season, there's got to be disdain from the fan base. There's got to be just a cultural dissonance within the locker room. I don't think any of that was present in Dorsey's release. None of it. It was just there had to be a change, and it wasn't going to be getting rid of Diggs mid-season. It wasn't going to be changing up the quarterback. It wasn't going to be changing any of that. I just think that was an unceremonious fire that unfortunately had to happen out for us.
See, I'm different in that. I really think that I don't think he was a scapegoat. I think that he was part of the problem. You saw a lot of the same same signs in the 2022 season that you saw start to deteriorate in 2023, whether it be, keep the ball away from Diggs or anything like that. But I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. He did not scheme guys open and then build off of those plays, right? So when you're scheming an offense, you want your offense to look a certain way. So I'm going to come out. I have 10 different formations, right? I have 30 different plays in each one of those formations, so they don't know what I'm running. Right. I truly think he ran only a few formations and tried to run plays out of each of those that would get guys not to where he would find them open.
I mean, the old adage is Joe Brady's offense makes you defend every blade of grass. I mean, that's kind of a talking point of this. I'm eager for something different. I'm eager not for an overhaul, but for something we haven't seen that possibly pushes us over, right? With Dable, we did have something different. It was called jet sweep season. I remember I would scream that jet action that he would do pre-snap. I love that because you're either if you're in cover one, you're pushing those people down the line that you have totally different assignments that you're not getting pre-snap, or if in cover two, you're gonna have people freed up the hash that linebackers are going to be responsible for relieving the pressure on the safety and getting them off. That's jet sweep season. What is going to be the dynamic in Joe Brady's offense that is going to be different is yet to be seen, but I think it's going to be there. I think there's an entire offseason of going over what he has and what he has in his arsenal that weaponizes his vision best.
So there is something that I want to say about this myself.
Okay.
During the Bocce Ball tournament, I interviewed Quentin Morris. Okay. I asked him specifically, I said, so was this Joe Brady's offense or was this Ken Dorsey's offense with a little flair?
I do remember you asking that. That was a great question.
Yeah,
he said it was the Ken Dorsey offense flair. So what that tells me is we have no idea what Joe Brady's going to do.
I would say you're probably right.
And I agree with you, Matt. And I think looking at, Ken Dorsey's time in Buffalo, I look back at that divisional round game against the Bengals. He didn't adjust anything with the weather. He ran what he wanted to run.
You remember the first show we had, right?
Right.
When we used to be the Buffalo Basement, when we talked to Jim McNally, right?
Yep.
What did he say? You remember?
refresh me just a little bit. I can probably tell you what he said.
Was I even part of the show at this point?
Not yet. This
No,
was our first show back last year.
Yeah, this was our first ever show.
Oh boy.
So shout out to Jim McNally, one of the linemen.
Shout out to your audio. It probably worked a lot better.
And that was quiet, Pat. That didn't say anything.
No, that was quiet, Pat. He said he went back and watched a few of the episodes, and he said,
Oof.
I felt so bad. You were talking for 58 minutes, and I just said, yes, I agree about 10 times.
Wisconsin.
So what it comes down to me for is what he said was that they were planning for on defense. They were planning for in there. They were planning on, all those guys being in there. The second that they found out Daquan Jones, they implemented a completely different game plan on offense and blocking scheme and everything else that they had worked on in case that stuff wasn't going to happen, in case that those guys were not, somebody was not in there. He said that they were licking their chops to go from a passing game to a power run game and stuffing Joe Mixon down the Bills' throats because they did not have guys up the middle that could handle that. So everything we've heard on the opposite side with Ken Dorsey is he had nothing set up. They literally were going to do what the 1990 Buffalo Bills did and run the same thing that they were going to do no matter what happens, whether there's a foot of snow on the field, whether it's sunshine and 80 degrees outside. They were going to be running the same offense. Do I expect that with Joe Brady personally? No, I think he's going to sit back. He's going to have as much control over the offense that Josh is going to have on the field, right? Does that make sense? In what I'm saying?
It does.
Okay. So when it comes down to that, I truly think that, truly think that Joe Brady is going to be able to take this offense and have 4 backup plans based on all the formations that he runs in his offense. And not only that, but I expect Josh Allen to go from having 15 seconds in the play or in the backfield to having
you better watch what seconds you're talking about,
to getting the ball out of his hands in about 2 seconds.
And I'm right there with you. And I really do think to that point that with our receivers, we're going to do more, take the ball out of Josh Allen's hand. Don't let him be Superman. Let our playmakers make plays. I know I said that quite a bit, but I think that's right to your point.
But at this point right now, I do want to, before we get into our lightning round, I do want to, I'm pulling up the stats right now on my phone, but this is from our great data guys, Zach and Jake.
Yeah, they're the best.
Champions Network. They are some of the best. And I literally asked them.
Matt, we got to give them like a little shout out here. Here at Two Champions, we probably have some of the best data guys going. Pat, Matt, I mean, I think this is our time to kind of like really give them some props. They're Johnny on the spot with anything we need. And they do it so succinctly and so beautifully. I just want to give them props to our data crew. They're fantastic. What we're building here, especially with data is going to be so crucial to how we break down things and interject it. Not only the eye test, data is so important, and no one here at Two Champions is ever gonna utter the words "you don't know ball," because data is an enhancer, and the team we built here. I mean, shout out to them. I'd be remiss if I didn't give them their props right now that they came up.
Yeah, no.
I know they're very good, very good.
And I'm the same mind. And I asked them for these stats this morning. I'm still trying to find them real quickly. So Pat, if you have anything else before I find this here, if you can go into it real quick. So
the shell caps, the Guardian caps for the helmets. Every position has to wear them in practice besides quarterback, kicker, and punter. Now you are able to wear those in a official NFL game. That's a new rule that I believe came up this offseason.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if I see a lot of. I see a lot of
that's
offensive.
different. That's different than the Mark Kelso cap.
Yes, it is. I know you see players like George Kittle and I believe it's Micah Parsons wearing those helmets. I don't know how to describe them, but they're kind of like pointed outwards in the forehead area. Now, I do wonder some of these players that have a previous concussion history if they're going to wear the shell cap. Maybe like a guy like Taron Johnson. Maybe does he wear it? But my only question is now, with the shell cap, is usually a white cap. Do they put the logo on that and print it and make it a better design, or no?
Well, actually, one of the things that they're doing from the guys that previously have concussions, and you see Kincaid wearing it, is a Q collar. You know the thing he wears on his neck? That's supposed to that's supposed to enhance blood flow, I believe, according to Banged Up Bills. That's supposed to enhance blood flow and reduce concussions. Also, you know, I think there's kind of muddy data. The reason where you wear a mouth guard is not to protect your teeth. That is also to reduce concussions. Biting down, swallowing. Oh, Pat, you didn't know that? Yeah, that's not.
No, I did not,
buddy. That's for concussions. That's for. I mean, I think it's muddy data on that. But yeah, that is also a concussion danger. But the Q collar you do see Kincaid and some of the other players wearing, that is enhanced blood flow to the brain to give you, I guess, cerebrally. And I don't even. I'm a dumb stockbroker, so I'm not a I'm not a medical expert like Vargo and Thigh Doctor and Banged Up Bills. But I do believe that is to reduce concussions. So that's just another enhancer when it comes to that stuff.
I think Taylor Rapp also wears that collar as well.
Yeah, AJ Klein was wearing it as well.
Yes, he was. The guy who played for us. I know that's a different subject, but
so this is going to. Yeah, this is going to touch on, a little touchy subject in the Bills, Bills fandom, things like that, with somebody that, particularly just keeps talking a whole bunch of garbage about Josh Allen and the Bills. I am speaking of.
We're going there. We're going there.
I'm ready for this.
You might later on, maybe in a couple weeks, you might see Dick Wrong come on screen and take the place of Matt Diegert for a few minutes. But I just want to say, so he is truly saying, he said the other day that basically Josh Allen is a touchdown merchant and stealing touchdowns within the 2-yard line, right?
Right.
I'm not wrong in saying that. He
fucking take it deep, dude.
So with that being said, our data guys actually went and took on this project real quick that I had them do this morning. Josh Allen last year in 2023, he had. Hold on, I'll actually let you guys both guess. I don't know if you saw the text because I think it was only to me. But did you
wait? Go back. You're texting yourself.
This is from our data guys. I'm going to let you guys guess. How many do you think he had from the 2 last year in 2023?
I'll let Student go because I think I know the answer. Because I think I saw it.
I feel like Steve Harvey. Repeat. What was the question?
How many touchdowns did Josh Allen have rushing inside the 2-yard line?
3.
You're close.
I'm saying 3.
You're close.
It's 5.
It's 2. No, it's 2.
Oh,
it's 2.
So what is it? What is this clown talking about?
He just wants to be on his knees and for Patrick Mahomes and everything like that. So I mean, I can't understand why he says that. So
I can. He went to Cuse. He's from the Midwest. He's from Kansas. Is Kansas City the Midwest? Our Midwest aficionado?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Okay, he's from the Midwest. He probably just. But when he was at Cuse, we were ass. We were garbage. Like what is his vendetta? I mean, that if anything, you should have a vendetta against the Giants. The Giants started every season like 3-5 and ended up like at least in the NFC Championship game. What's his axe to grind with us? Why can't there be reality and like, yo, they're both doing it?
Because he has a how do I say this? He has a
let's
obsession
not get in
for
the mind.
Patrick Mahomes.
Let's continue this. Let's not get in the mind of Nick Wright. That's a whole leather of like dark depravity that I don't need to. Also, he can say whatever he wants.
So
Right,
what
gotcha.
it comes down to. Hold on. Let me kind of go through this data real quickly because I think it's very interesting. So Josh Allen,
He just little brothered you.
Josh Allen had 35 red zone rushing attempts, 137 yards, and 15 touchdowns. So sure, if you want to say that he gets touchdowns in the red zone, but that goes all the way out to the 20-yard line. Josh Allen had 21 first downs inside the red zone. Do you want to take a guess at how many touchdowns Patrick Mahomes had rushing last year?
Four.
In the red zone, I'm talking. How many did you say?
Do they do the tush push?
No, they don't.
They don't do the tush push. I'm gonna go with 7.
You're both wrong, and you're way off. You're both
Way off.
How far off? 0.
0.
Wow.
And he only had he had 13 attempts.
Interesting.
And 2 first downs. Okay. Josh Allen from inside the 5-yard line had 2 touchdowns. And it's 3 from inside the 6. So that includes the 2, right? That's out of 15 touchdowns inside the red zone. He had a total of what? He had a total of what did I say? 2, 4, 5. 5 touchdowns inside the 5 or inside the 6-yard line. With a total, so that's 10 he had outside the 6-yard line.
Man, Nick Wright. Don't know what you're talking about there, bud. And I think we are back. I am so sorry about the technical difficulties we are currently having. Myself had an internet issue. Matt and Student also just had an internet issue. So just to carry on what Matt was saying, Matt was talking about Nick Wright. And me personally, I think Nick Wright doesn't like Josh Allen for the fact of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen have a lot of similarities. And I don't know if Nick Wright likes that. But going into some of the subject, kind of that subject is, I know Neffy brought it up earlier. The Josh Allen hate knows no bounds. That's really true. I know a lot of people want to talk about Josh Allen's turnover since 2020, but people don't want to talk about the most touchdowns since 2020, and that's Josh Allen. Josh Allen does have the most touchdowns since 2020 with 173. Then it's Patrick Mahomes with 151, 22 less touchdowns than Josh Allen, and then Justin Herbert's third at 125. So I don't think it's far-fetched to say that Nick Wright doesn't like Josh Allen, because I know myself, I like to say Josh Allen's better as far as playing the position of quarterback goes. I don't know what Nick Wright's, I know students say, like, what is Nick Wright's thing with against the Bills? We'll never know. Maybe he tries to trash on the Bills for the fact of, if he puts Bills Mafia, or if he says something bad about the Bills, he knows he's going to get clicks from it, because he knows Bills Mafia is going to be in the comments section and ready to defend the Bills. Me personally, I think that's what it is. I think it's more of a clickbait to try to get more views and more clicks. Yeah, but that guy does have, it's weird. Okay, why is this? Okay. There we go. Yeah, Nick Wright is trash. I totally agree. Nick Wright is, I don't like listening to him at all. Not at all. And I know Colin Cowherd recently had on Deion Dawkins as a guest on his show, and the way he started that show, I posted it on Twitter. Like, this is not how you introduce a guest. Basically saying, oh, yeah, you guys are good, but you guys can't beat the Chiefs. That's basically what he was insinuating. And to me, I'm pretty sure Deion Dawkins had to have taken some offense to that. That's pretty disrespectful to not introduce him, just say, hey, this is what you guys remind me of. I don't quote me on it, because I don't believe he said that's what the Knicks were to the Bulls, but that's kind of what he was insinuating. I think it's totally disrespectful. I think it's disrespectful, the hate that Josh Allen gets in particular, and this Buffalo Bills team in general, where I know we talked about it before. The Bills lost some pieces, but we brought in a lot of good pieces, and, we still have the same core to say. So moving on from core, I know, Neffy, you had a question earlier, which was, what are we doing with the Trey White money? Me personally, I would like to see Yannick Ngakoue here. I know he's not the best run stopper, but he's an elite pass rusher. In 2017, he put up 12 sacks. Then from 2020 to 2022, he had over 8 sacks. Then in 2023, he went to Chicago, where he was the number 1 edge rusher in Chicago. And when he put up 4.5 sacks, played in 13 games, missed a few games. I believe it was due to a foot injury or an ankle injury. But I think that's a guy who still has a lot in the tank. He's only 29. And a guy like that would be really, really good in a rotation with the Buffalo Bills. We do have a comment here from Josh. The Josh Allen hate is so strong because we have never seen a Josh Allen before. Size, strength, speed, and arm talent. And that's exactly why I think Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I don't mean that, obviously, Tom Brady's is the greatest. Obviously, the Joe Montanas and the, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Mannings, and stuff like that. Yeah, you are right, Josh. People hate what they can't understand and comprehend. I totally agree with you. We will never see another quarterback like Josh Allen. GMs are going to get fired because they're trying to find the next Josh Allen. Look at Anthony Richardson. I'm sure he's going to be a good quarterback, but will he be the next Josh Allen? I don't know. I still don't think Josh Allen's hit his ceiling. So, hey, we are still waiting for Matt and Student. But I don't think Josh Allen has reached his ceiling yet. I think a few of those interceptions, I think with Joe Brady, that we will see Josh Allen with less interceptions as well. I know Matt was getting to that earlier. I think that's not too far-fetched just to say, put the ball in like I said earlier, put the ball in the playmakers' hands and let them make plays. I think we're going to see less deep routes. Okay, my bad. Just got a text from a student. Okay. Yep. They are still having technical difficulties, so apologize for all that. But with a guy like Josh Allen, what is his ceiling? Because Wyan is a one-trick pony. That is true. That is true. But what does a ceiling look like for Josh Allen? I mean, he's had 4 straight seasons of 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. He's trying to break his own record again this year. If he does it again, it'll be for the 5th year in a row. This is just stuff that's unheard of. So I don't understand the Josh Allen hate. In my opinion, he's definitely a top 2 quarterback. I know PFF has him, or the NFL Top 100 list has him at 12th. I think that's criminally underrated. They're criminally underrating Josh Allen. There is not 12 players in the NFL that are better than Josh Allen. I know they have him as his position rank is 4th behind Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. Now, if you're going off last year, which on one of our Twitter posts, Do Champions, the Madden ratings have came out, and Josh Allen is behind Patrick Mahomes, who's a 99, Lamar Jackson, who's a 98, Joe Burrow, who's a 93, and Josh Allen at a 92. Madden does their ratings off a last year's basis. Now, how can you tell me that Joe Burrow was better than Josh Allen last year when Joe Burrow didn't play? In the games that he did play, they struggled in the first half of the season. Cincinnati did. But so did Buffalo. But Josh Allen's just getting hate from everywhere. This Buffalo Bills team's getting hate from everywhere. This reminds me of the beginning of the 2020 season where nobody kind of expected us to be where we were that year. But we did it. And I think that's what we're going to see this year is we're going to shut a lot of people up. I agree with you, Josh. The haters are going to hate. Now, I know Student wanted to do a segment very quick, which was any lightning round questions for me and Matt. Matt's no longer here, so I'll take any fire questions. Any questions. But I just can't wait for this team to put the, nail in the coffin and shut up a lot of these haters because they're going to do it. They hear the outside noise. I don't think they care. They know what they have inside their locker room, and that's all that matters. And that's the coaches, which props to Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, the coaches that they have built. Trying to see what else I have here for today. I think we basically covered everything. But yes, I know we didn't get to finish it, but here's a good question from Josh. Why not spend more money on an extra cornerback, kind of short on the boundary corner? Yeah, I mean, we have Kyer Elam, Rasul Douglas, and Christian Benford, and that's it. I know we like to carry, I think it's 5 or 6 defensive backs. So, pardon me, I don't have the numbers right in front of me. But I'm all for adding another corner. I mean, we do have $11.3 something million in cap space. I personally do think that the Bills and Brandon Beane are going to use that more towards the trade deadline to pick up another piece, especially with all the draft picks we have. We can't roster all of them. But if we were to bring in a corner, I would give a shot to a guy like, obviously, if we were to apologize to the Bills front office and the city of Buffalo, and that's Stephon Gilmore. I think Stephon Gilmore is a guy who still has a little bit left in the tank. I know some Bills Mafia was saying Patrick Peterson. I would sign Patrick Peterson just to keep him away from Josh Allen. Patrick Peterson has 4 career interceptions, and I believe it's in 2 or 3 games against the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen in particular. But if the Bills wanted to go for a corner, I'm all for bringing in a guy like Stephon Gilmore. I'm pretty sure he would not be that expensive this late into the offseason. I know we didn't get to touch into it earlier, but my final 2 number, pick one, Smoot, Tuhill, or Kingsley Jonathan. Only one can make the roster. Who and why? Ooh. Smoot, Tuhill, Kingsley Jonathan. Only one can make the roster. I'm going to go with Dwayne Smoot because he's a guy who's had over 5.5 sacks every year in the NFL, I believe, since 2018 or 2020. I know he's coming off a Achilles injury, but we've seen players come back before from Achilles injury. It's not like Dwayne Smoot's going to be running routes or, playing the cornerback position. He's not. And I think Dwayne Smoot, he's also a pretty good run stopper, if I remember correctly. And on top of that, to have his consistent sack production of 5.5 or 6, I think it will be very useful on the Buffalo Bills in the Buffalo Bills rotation. But my other two numbers for the Buffalo Bills, most memorable, most important numbers in Buffalo Bills history is 95, and that's Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams was the definition of a true team captain due to his, Smoot or Yannick Ngakoue. I would probably go with Smoot just because of, the consistent sack numbers. I know I brought it up earlier. Yannick Ngakoue has had over 8 sacks from the span of 2020 to 2022, the 3 years. And then obviously before that as well. I believe it actually goes back further than that, actually. I think it goes back to 2018. But I saw Yannick Ngakoue play a lot last year in Chicago, and it didn't look like the pass rush was there. I don't know if that's because he was the main focus for offensive lines, but give me a guy like Dwayne Smoot on the Buffalo Bills second line, and I'll rock with it. But yes, I mean, Kyle Williams is a true definition of what the Buffalo Bills culture what it is right now, what Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott started here. And I know that Kyle Williams was here way before, and Bryce Pop too. Stud Pat Rush, yes. But I mean, Kyle Williams, was here during the drought. He's kind of one of the, the bright spots of this Bills team in the drought eras. I know me growing up, that was one of my favorite Bills. I mean, can you imagine if we had Kyle Williams right now? That leadership in the locker room. And then my other one was it's more recency bias, but it is Josh Allen. He has a chance to bring the first Super Bowl to the city of Buffalo. And I think that is very important. And not just because of that, just, his numbers where the, 4, maybe 5, hopefully 5 straight seasons of, the 40 touchdowns and 4,000 yards. And just, he's close to breaking Bills all-time records, rushing-wise and passing-wise. So I think he's going to be a very important number to come in the Buffalo Bills organization. But yeah, I want to hear from you guys. How do you guys feel about the shell caps that the NFL is now allowing players to wear in games? Me personally, I'm for it. I don't understand how it's going to work. If it's a white cap and there's no logo, especially if you're playing corner and the opposing team has a white helmet on as well. I wonder if they'll put on a logo, make a different design, but the same concept. Obviously, to prevent concussions, and like Student brought up earlier, the collars to try to prevent concussions as well. But for me, with the shell caps, I'm all for the shell caps. It would have to be team color, in my honest opinion. I agree with you. It would have to be. That's the only way I could see it working. Because, just for example, what if, you have the Bills have a white helmet? Who else has a white helmet? The Dolphins have a white helmet. Let's say they're playing in Buffalo, just for example. And, it's blizzard-like conditions, and that helmet is white. That's shell cap. Maybe that's not a good example, but it would have to be the team color. I agree with you, Josh. Now, does anybody else have any other lightning questions that you guys may want to know? Because if not, I think. Oh, and another thing, just very quick on the Brandon Ayuk situation is there's a few teams that are interested. I think they're willing to pay a little bit more than Buffalo, and that's Pittsburgh, who I've heard has interest. Washington, I know there's some rumors circulating there, and I've heard the Raiders might be interested. Don't know how true that one is, but I think it's definitely something to monitor. How would you guys feel about having Brandon Ayuk? Okay, no Brandon Ayuk love from Josh. I get it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Tennessee. Let me take that down on my notes. Actually, the Titans are also interested in Brandon Ayuk. I mean, with having Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, and then Brandon Ayuk, that would be one lethal wide receiver trio. Not just in the AFC, in the whole NFL in general, because that would be one very good wide receiver trio. And again, we are sponsored by Ilya DiPaolo's. They have the greatest Italian food in Western New York. If you don't believe me, check it out for yourself. You can find them at 3785 South Park Avenue, Blaisdell, New York, 14219. And also Sons of Erie for all the Bills Mafia paintings and apparel that you could want. You can find that at www.sonsoferie.com. Also Hamburg Brewing and Beauty Pools. And that's all I have from everybody today. And if nobody else has any more questions, I think we're just going to call it a wrap. And we'll see you guys next week at the same time, 8 Eastern, every Friday. Make sure you check out the Coast to Coast podcast every Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Eastern. So yeah, I think that's it. Let me look through my notes one more time. Yeah, that's all I got. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in. And we will see you guys next week at Friday at 8 Eastern. Same time, same place.
Hey,
Just before I was about to end it.
Let us.
Yeah, you're still alive.
We are still.
Yes,
live. We all got hit by the cyber attack. Apparently.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me. I can't hear you because everything crashed.
There's a bad echo.
Yours crashed too. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. But there's a bad echo. You guys rose at the Undertaker. I was just about to click end stream and you guys just come back. Not so quick.
Yeah, I had to pull the.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Fucking.
Welcome back, guys.
Today.
Yeah.
Yo,
so yeah,
I was
basically,
texting my friends in hang on. I was texting my friends in like California. Even they got hit. You got hit too, Pat?
Really? Yeah. See, I was just texting Jesse, and I thought it was me, so I unplugged my Wi-Fi splitter.
No. Like I think this is part of the whole thing that happened today, bro.
I know Matt when he goes, "This stupid bug." I'm like, "Wait, what are you talking? Like, cyber attack?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Dude, really?" I'm like, "I haven't seen anything about it up until that point."
Yeah, that's crazy.
That point.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but basically, we went over the whole Nick Wright. I kind of gave my opinion on that. I brought up how people want to talk about. Okay. And I brought up how people want to bring up the most total interceptions since 2020, but they don't want to talk about the most touchdowns since 2020. In that span, it is Josh Allen with 173, Patrick Mahomes with 151, and Justin Herbert with 125. So, but he does turn the ball over, but at the same time, he makes up for it. And that's what separates him from these other quarterbacks that are prone to throwing interceptions.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that's really what it comes down to as far as that goes. And, they say Josh Allen's, turnover machine and blah, blah, blah. I'm not about that. Like, I would say, like, we talk about it, I hate the thing called arm punt. Like, I hate it. I hate when people use that term.
Can you still hear me?
I can.
You could hear him?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I love the arm punt. I think it's a calculated move. I mean, you take the gamble when you can take the gamble. Like to not worry about your stat line and try to go for it. I think it's great. I think it's selfless. I think it's just a win-win-win mentality.
I agree with you. I agree with you, student, but at the same time, I do. But I also see Matt's point. It's kind of like it's an excuse if it doesn't work out. Like, oh, it's just an arm punt. But if it works out, it's like, hey, selfless. I'm trying to do what's best for the team. So I see both sides. So I'm in, middle one.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's unfortunate that he has thrown what he have this year, 15?
15, yes.
I mean, you're going to get that with Josh Allen. We knew that coming out, that he takes chances and things like that. Look at Brett Favre. Look at Brett Favre.
Perfect example.
I mean, that's the one of the best examples that's out there. Is as long as as soon as Josh gets a Super Bowl, all this narrative is going to go away. It doesn't matter. Like, once he has one, most people are going to be like, okay, he deserved that. And then you're going to still have those people that are like, oh, can he get another one? Can he get 3 like Mahomes has? So I mean, it stinks, but at the same time, it's I don't know.
I'm kind of right there with you. The narrative for Josh Allen will never go away. There's always going to be hate for Josh Allen. Once he wins the Super Bowl, oh, hey, can he win another one? Can he win a third one? It's never going to go away. It's never going to go away because for some reason there's this weird media-driven. There's just weird narratives that are just driven by the media with Josh Allen. And I know I touched on it earlier when we were having technical difficulties, but I'll never understand it. I think why Nick Wright does it just to catch you up. I think Nick Wright does it because, he knows if he talks bad about Josh Allen or the Bills in particular, that he will get clicks from it. He will get views from it. He'll get shares.
Get views. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And that's what it comes down to is and I get it. And I respect that, I guess, form of journalism. I mean, because everybody's got to get that out there. Like, but at the same time, give the guy his due. No pun intended with due.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say no pun intended, but right.
But give Josh his due. Everything he's done, he's the second best quarterback in the league by far.
And one of the most gifted quarterbacks of all time.
Should not have lost the MVP to Lamar Jackson. I'm sorry.
Nope.
Like, you can't throw for under 3,000 yards and get an MVP like that. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry.
Well, if that's the case, then 2015 Tyrod Taylor should be an MVP.
Exactly.
I don't make the rules. Exactly. That's just how it is.
Exactly. So, I mean, unfortunately, that's kind of what it comes down to when you're talking about all that. But I don't know. I just every single one of our podcasts, every single one of our podcasts ends up turning to talk about Josh Allen for some way, shape, or form. But
it always does, right? Always. QB1, it has to.
But I mean, I think if this was available in like the 90s, it'd be Jim Kelly we're talking about,
right?
Like this.
It's just the superstar that's here currently, right?
Quarterback ends up being the most important part of the team to talk about, to watch on the field, to everything, because again, all offenses run through the quarterback.
Very true.
And that it truly started in 1988 with the K gun.
The K gun offense. Yep.
Which, Pat, do you know who it's named after?
It's not Jim Kelly. It's it's on the top of my tongue. I know it, but
Tight end.
not Maslark.
Metzelaars. No, it was not Pete Metzelaars.
It's Keith something, right? Keith?
It's Keith McKellar.
Was-
Yep.
Yep.
Keith
Yep.
McKellar. Yep.
Yep.
100%.
What was it like watching that no huddle offense?
I mean, you watched it in the Four Falls of Buffalo, right?
You know I don't like talking about that. The night before the AFC Championship game, I woke up in the middle of the night it was on NFL Network. I believe it was the Four Falls of Buffalo. At
So
that
it's your
point,
fault. It's your fault. It's your fault the Bills lost that game.
this is the first time I've ever gone public about that. And I ever since then, like, I didn't think about it until after the game. I'm like, oh my goodness, I watched the Four Falls of Buffalo that night. So I'm like, we got to get back there somehow, and we got to like MacGyver some things around and do something because
I truly believe in my gut, this is the year they at least get back to the AFC Championship game. I really do.
I'm right there with you.
I'm
I'm right there with you.
And I am of the mind that they do, and I really think that this Joe Brady offense is going to be the reason why. Truly.
I agree with you. And I look at it as, this offense is going to be unpredictable. And just kind of like how it was last year, you don't know who's going to have the big game. It could be Ty Johnson. It could be James Cook, like how we saw in Dallas when it was unexpected. Nobody was expecting Josh Allen to throw for under 150. James Cook on the show. And Cook up with Cowboys defense, no pun intended.
I mean, when it's time to make a play, and some of the games that we're going to remember, you make that play, and that's the reason we talk like this about some of the players is that when your number's called, it's such a cliche, but when your number is called, make sure you answer.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, that truly is what it comes down to, is when your number is called, you have to make that play.
Big time players make
audio now.
You're echoing.
How are we doing here?
You're echoing.
Very cool. How's now?
Talk.
Hey, how are you doing, Pat? You big sexy
Still-
Wisconsinite?
You're still echoing.
Very cool.
Now you're not.
How's
You guys have to
it
be mute. You're good because Matt's muted.
Oh my God, we're getting this, and this is part of a network. You fail, you fail, you fail, and that was what the 17 years of the Bills were like. Just fail until we get somebody like Josh Allen, we get somebody like a Pat Bruknis joining the show, just sitting pretty in the Midwest, not worrying about dick of what's going on here in Buffalo. So no, but I was texting a bunch of players like, yo, what happens when NFL comms go down? There has to be a contingency plan, right? You know what I mean? NFL comms go down on the field. We're back to pen and paper, like Tom Landry style. Oh, Pat's getting fired up. Let's go.
I was actually watching a video on that right before we went live and right before, we all hopped into the StreamYard. It was Joe Burrow was talking to, I think it was John Perry or some referee about that happened to him last year. And then also happened to him in the divisional round against the Titans. And he started calling his own plays and he said he loved it.
What the headset comms went down?
Yes.
Man, yeah. I mean, there's only two players on the field that get the. Is there one on special teams, Matt? The green dot. Matt, you listen to me?
Mm-hmm. This is my thinking face. I apologize.
Did someone on special teams like Matakevich? Do they get the green dot, or is it just strictly our middle linebacker Josh and
center? Right?
There's just two green dots on the field.
For anybody that that doesn't understand the green dot, that is your telecoms your radio system. They have that in the helmets. Obviously Josh has it. It's signified by a lime green dot on the back of the helmet of who has telecoms in their helmet placed. But I was just wondering, we obviously have one for Josh. We obviously have one for a middle linebacker. Do we have one for special teams? Probably not, because Matakevich would have got the call to give to Bass to squib the ball.
Oh my goodness. Which, by the way, he just signed the Pittsburgh Steelers, so.
He did. We did see that. And, I'm not 100% sure that's something I'd have to look up, but I think he's right in saying that only the quarterback, the backup quarterback, and the middle linebacker get the comm system. So with that, do we want to do our lightning round?
Yeah. Pat, do you know what you're getting into?
No, I have a good idea.
So I'm going to ask you guys 10 questions about recent historical questions of Buffalo Bills. And I'm going to award you guys points. First one to 5 wins. But we can extend it with 2 questions if a chat wants to give a question. If you just give me one moment to bring up the questions I'm going to ask you. They're going to be topical questions from 2019 and on. So just give me one moment.
I kind of like that because I didn't get to see the 90s Bills.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to answer any of the questions, so that would be completely unfair.
Correct. That's why I was kind of like, I know good history for I know a good amount of history for the Buffalo Bills, but
I mean, again, Pat, like we talked about, there is YouTube, there is film out there. We sat on the phone for an hour and 10 minutes the other day, and I was showing you literally highlights of the Buffalo Sabres with Rick Jenneret and Rob Ray, and showing you why I fell in love with hockey in the first place. So I mean, but football is a whole different game as far as that goes. So if you ever want to look at it, I'm sure they have games on YouTube from the early 90s, and just
they do. I've watched a few of them.
I will tell you, watching that K-Gun offense was one of the most amazing things that you could see on field. Because it was completely different than watching Peyton Manning do it. Peyton Manning in his own right running that no huddle offense was amazing. But watching the K-Gun and them on the ball, ready to go, snap the ball, they run the play, hand off Thurman Thomas, he gains 10 yards, 7 yards, 5 yards, whatever it is. Within 5 seconds, they're back on the ball and ready to, they're even ahead of like the referees. They're ahead of, I think Howie Long said it best in the early 90s after the AFC Championship game that year against the Raiders when they won 52-3, 51-3. He literally said he couldn't catch his breath. He talked so much crap about the game, saying, "Oh, what's this no huddle, blah 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 blah," all that stuff. Literally said after the game, they were just so much faster, so much better than they were. They couldn't catch their breath at certain times, and it's just high flying offense.
It's almost like the greatest. That's not the.
It was the greatest comeback season when Howie Long was like, I don't think the steel curtain could have caught the K-Gun today. They just beat on people. It was great.
And all they did was condition and practice.
So this is where I'll start it, boys. It is Pat versus Matt, guys. And if the chat wants to give a couple questions for tiebreakers, that'd be great. So as we start everything, rock, paper, scissors between you. Pat, if you want to retweet out the link, that would be great, just to refresh it.
Yes,
and just include it's going to be the lightning round.
Yeah, just throw it up there. Internet's back up.
Alrighty.
So touching on that again, something we were talking about just before, we want to give another shout out to our data guys. I mean, some of that data that took them would have taken me probably 10 hours to find, but those guys found it so quickly, and they got it so eloquently. Put out there for us, so we could literally just read it from a screen. It was awesome.
Are you guys ready for your rock, paper, scissors?
Yes, we are. I'm ready.
All right, ready. Rock, papers, scissors, go. All right, Mr. Matt Diegert, you want to go first or second?
I will go first.
You will go first. Okay, here we go. Give me a number 1 to 25, please. 1 to 25.
Let's go 22.
22. Here's the question. Here is the question. You do have a lifeline with the chat, okay? I'd like to let you know. You do have one lifeline with the chat to ask. You have 30 seconds. If they do not respond, shit out of luck. Here we go. Which Buffalo Bills player was named to the Pro Bowl in both the 2019 and 2020 season? Which Buffalo Bills player was named to the Pro Bowl in both the 2019 and 2020 season? 15 seconds. Here you go.
Do I get Jeopardy music?
But we can't even keep the stream going.
No, I'm only kidding. I want to say it was Josh Allen.
To be clear, the question is, which Buffalo Bills player was named to the Pro Bowl in both 2019 and 2020 season? He says Josh Allen. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That is incorrect. Pat, you have a chance to steal. 10 seconds. 5.
Deion Dawkins. No, Tremaine
That is
Edmonds.
incorrect. Oh, I am sorry. That is incorrect. The correct answer is Tre'Davious White. I award you no points, and both of you, may God have mercy on your soul. Moving on, Pat, give me a number 1 to 25. 22 is off the board.
23.
23. And your question is, how many times did the Buffalo Bills defense hold opponents to under 20 points in the 2020 season? Once again, the question is, how many times did the Buffalo Bills defense hold opponents to under 20 points in the 2020 season? 30 seconds on the board.
6.
That is correct. 6 times is correct. 1 point to Pat. The answer to that question, how many times did the Buffalo Bills defense hold opponents to under 20 points in the 2020 season? Mr. Pat Bruknis gets it correct. That is 6 times. 1-0 Pat. I swing to you once again, first to 5. That is number 23. 1 to 25, 22, and 23 are off the board. Matt, what do you want to hear? 1 to 25.
So I just want to say this first. I think we need Pat to turn around since he's not in the same room as us, from searching and everything like that. So I'm only kidding. I will take number 11.
He called you the 2018 Patriots.
I will take number 11.
Number 11. Once again, 1-0 Pat Bruknis. The question is, who led the Buffalo Bills in interceptions in the 2020 season? Who led the Buffalo Bills in interceptions in the 2020 season? And I'll give you a hint. It was 3. 30 seconds to you.
So 2020 season, I remember.
It's good for you.
I'm just trying to count. I know Trey White had in 2020. He had one against the nope, that was 2019. So I am going to go with Trey White again.
Is that your final answer?
It is, yes.
Trey White is correct. 1-1, he evens it up. The answer is Trey White. He led the Buffalo Bills in interceptions in the 2020 season with 3 interceptions. That is pre-injury for all that. So, Pat, I swing it back to you. The first to 5. Questions 22, 23, and 11 are off the board. Give me a number.
17.
Ooh, 17. Okay. This is going to be an easy one. Which player in the gut-wrenching loss in Week 10, 2020 season, caught the Hail Mary to end the game against a NFC opponent? Which player caught a Hail Mary pass in Week 10 to deliver the Buffalo Bills a loss in the 2020 season?
I mean, could you have given him an easier question?
Hey, Tonto. Fucking chill.
Who is
Pat,
DeAndre
20
Hopkins?
seconds.
Who is
That is
DeAndre
correct. 2-1 to Patrick. 2-1 to Patrick. I swing it back to Matt. That is the 17th question off the board. What do you got? 1 to 25.
I mean, since Pat took Josh Allen with number 17, I'm going to take number 12 with Jim Kelly.
That is an excellent choice, sir. That is a fine year. You're really going to like the 10. I don't know. I'm done with the wine talk. Number 12, what was the Bills' record in the 2020 regular season? Regular season. What was the Bills' record in the 2020 regular season? 30 seconds.
13-3.
13-3 is correct. That is also your gift. Score of 2-2. 2 to Pat, 2 to Matt. 12 questions off the board. 1 to 25. What do you want?
13.
13, playing off of his some of the most historically important numbers, of which Stevie Johnson wore, both the Kentucky and Buffalo Bills. Question 13. Which player did the Buffalo Bills sign to a 1-year contract in March 2020 after his release from the Carolina Panthers, the Buffalo Bills South? Reading it back, which player did the Buffalo Bills sign to a 1-year contract in March 2020 after his release from the Carolina Panthers? 30 seconds.
Mario Addison?
Is that your final answer, Patrick?
Yes.
That is correct. It's going to go 3-2. Pat to Matt. And we're going to interject with a user question. User question. This is coming from Kate, and you can see it on the big board. Matt, to you. Kate asks, where did Terrell Owens go to college? And you know I know.
Tennessee, Chattanooga.
That is correct. Attaboy, 3-3. Good question, Kate. I'll interject with any of you guys' questions here. It is 3-3. This is a dogfight. This is an AFC pre-championship game. Pat, give me a number, please.
3.
3. Good choice. Ooh. What was the final score? And I was at this game with my dad. Rest in peace. What was the final score of the Buffalo Bills wild card game, the Cody Ford game against the Houston Texans at the Houston Texans? The Texans did win in overtime. What was that final score? If you'd like some help from Student Body Right, I will both afford you that option. 20 seconds.
I'll use the help.
It was a 3-point differential.
I got 3 numbers in my head. Was it 22-19?
Is that your final answer, baby boy?
Yes.
That's correct! 22-19. Patty is winning this one right now. 4-3. Matt, you need this, or the young buck is going to you're going the big doe, or I'm sorry, the big stag's going to the slaughterhouse if you don't get this. So here we go. Give me what number you would like. We might do all these questions.
I will take 7.
7. Oh, this is a good one. Which Buffalo Bills player scored a touchdown on a block punt against the Miami Dolphins, Week 17 in 2020? I'd like to say you still have your lifelines, the chat as well as Student. Student can educate you, or the chat can lead you astray. Once again, reading it back, which Buffalo Bills player scored a touchdown on a block punt against the Miami Dolphins, Week 17, 2020 season? Twenty seconds.
Student Body Right. Helpline. Defensive lineman? Nah, not a defensive lineman, actually. He's actually, I don't know where my head went. He's actually a safety. He was a safety. And I'll do you one better.
He's actually a safety. I'll do you one better. Miami Dolphins, he actually is from Miami. He played football at the U. Once again, which Buffalo Bills player scored a touchdown on a block punt against the Miami Dolphins, Week 17, 2020 season? He did go to the U. He is from Miami. He is a safety. $10 seconds, buddy. 5. We need an answer.
I don't know.
Pat, opportunity to steal.
Who is Saran Neal?
That is incorrect. The correct answer is Jaquan Johnson. Which Buffalo Bills player scored a touchdown on a block punt against Miami Dolphins Week 17, 2017. Jaquan Johnson, I believe he was a 6th-round pick out of the U. Anyway, reading it back. Pat, to you.
We do have a question.
Hey, Tonto. I'm running the game show here. Here we go. Who led the Buffalo Bills in rushing touchdowns in 2021?
Well, I know it's not Josh Allen because he never led the Bills in rushing touchdowns up until last year. So it had to have been 2021. Devin Singletary?
Hands up, Pat. Hands up, Pat. I don't want you Googling shit.
Devin Singletary.
Get your little cheese curd hands off that keyboard.
Devin Singletary.
Devin Singletary. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Devin Singletary is correct. Pat is first to 5. First to 5. And technically he wins. But I think if Matt gets the next 2 in a row, based on student body, I think the game continues. So are you down with that, Pat? Double or nothing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. Pat, you got to get both of these right. Or Matt, sorry. Matt, here's your question. You ready for it? Who led the Buffalo Bills in sacks in the 2019 season? Who led the Buffalo Bills in sacks in the 2019 season? Since this is a retribution round, I'm only giving you 10 seconds. Go ahead. I'll give you a student nugget. It is almost 10 sacks. It's 9.5.
Who is Jordan Phillips?
That is correct. The game continues. All right, here's your next one. The game continues. Who led the Buffalo Bills in sacks 2019 season? That is Jordan Phillips. All right, buddy. Here we go. Within 50 yards, how many total yards did the Buffalo Bills gain in the Week 9 game against the Seattle Seahawks? That was kind of a good one. The Week 9 game against the Seattle Seahawks in 2020. Within 50 yards, how many yards of offense did the Buffalo Bills gain? That was played in November. Zach Moss scored in that game.
If I remember correctly. This is the game the night after Josh Allen's grandmother died.
Within 50 yards.
And I'm going to say 485.
The game continues. The correct answer is 420, which is not within the standard deviation, but the host overrules. 485 is close enough for student. The game continues. Pat, we're going to go back to you.
Okay.
What number?
Let's go with number 1.
I can't give you that. That's too easy. But I will give you number 4.
Okay.
What was the Buffalo Bills' regular season record in 2019? Regular season.
9-7.
That is incorrect, Matt. Opportunity to steal. Incorrect. What was the Buffalo Bills' regular season record in 2019? He says 9-7. That is incorrect. Please be aware this is before the 18-game format.
11-5.
That is both incorrect. You guys are both dummies. It is 10-6. And please keep in mind, I have all the answers, so I am the smartest man in the room. You want to Matt. What number?
14.
Oh, this is a good one. Which Buffalo Bills player was named AFC Defensive Player of the Week? I'm sorry, AFC Defensive Player of the Month, December 2019. Which Buffalo Bills player was named AFC Defensive Player of the Month, 2019?
Can I get a nugget?
He is no longer on the roster. Use the chat if you need it. Ten seconds.
I am gonna go with Jordan Poyer.
That's incorrect, Pat. Incorrect, Pat. Which Buffalo Bills player garnered the AFC Defensive Player of the Month in December 2019?
Micah Hyde.
That is also incorrect. The answer is Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White. Who picked last, boys? I believe it was Matt. Pat, to you. What number? Oh, number 9? I got it. Done.
I was gonna say number 9.
Okay, cool. I'm going to switch it up then. Number 15. What draft pick did the Buffalo Bills use to select Ed Oliver in the 2019 draft? What draft pick? What numerical draft pick did the Buffalo Bills use to select Ed Oliver out of the University of Houston in 2019?
Pick 9. Round 1, pick 9.
That is correct. He is running amok on your soul, Matthew. That is unbelievable. The clinic Pat is putting on your lifeless body. Matt, to you. What pick do you want? Until we're out of questions.
20.
Which Buffalo Bills player had the most punt return yards in the 2019 season? If you remember, it's easy. If you don't, holy clams, it's not.
Andre Roberts.
That is correct. He's coming back. It is right now 6-5. Pat, to you. What number do you want?
20.
You just used 20. Thank you for paying attention.
That's why it's not familiar. 18.
Now we'll go 20 on a new sheet. Who was the Buffalo Bills' first round pick in the 2020 NFL Draft? Little tricky.
That's a trick question because the Bills didn't have one, so it's AJ Epinesa.
You're goddamn right. It was a trick question. Good for you, man. What do we do with that pick?
We traded it for Stephon Diggs, who is currently a Houston Texan.
God, man.
We could have had Justin Jefferson.
He's got a family. Why are you doing this to Matt? He's got a family.
Hey, real quick.
Has he found a house yet in Houston?
He has not found a house yet.
Oh,
He hasn't. I was on mute that whole time as I was just scorning you. Running it back. Pat, I'm going to give you the question. You ready for it?
Yep.
Who is the Buffalo Bills defensive special teams coordinator? Sorry, who's the Buffalo Bills special teams coordinator for Smiley in the 2020 season? This is before Smiley. Who is the Buffalo Bills special teams coordinator in the 2020 season? I'll give you a hint. This is a student hint. It's not Chad Hall.
I got nobody.
He relinquishes to Matt. Matt, who is the Buffalo Bills special teams coordinator in the 2020 season?
I want to say Danny Crossman.
That is going to be incorrect. Heath Farwell.
Heath
Farwell. Okay. Anybody from the chat? We got any questions? Benny, what's going on, brother? Do you got any questions for these guys? We're doing a lightning round here. Pat, to you, because you're not regionally based. Two-part question. You have to get both correct.
Okay.
We're going up to Rochester for camp this week.
It's me now.
Sorry, we'll go to Matt. We're going up to Rochester for camp this week. What division is St. John Fisher, and what is their mascot? Two-part question. What division is St. John Fisher, and what is their mascot?
Do I have to get the exact bird that it is?
We're going up to St. John Fisher this weekend for camp. What division are they, and what is their mascot? I don't think I could be any clearer.
So they are Division 3. And Cardinal?
That is correct. That is great. I love that.
I was gonna say Pelican.
A pelican. This is Rochester, New York. How would a bird like the pelican be regionally significant to St. John Fisher College? Sticking with Division III, who was recently a legend of the game, donning number 59 from a Division III college in the Midwest. Name what college London Fletcher went to. Bring it back. What college? What college did London Fletcher go to? $10. You can ask the chat for help. 5,
Mississippi
4.
State. First thing came to mind.
It's a Division III college. Mississippi State is actually Division I in the SEC, so that would not qualify, and I'm beating on your soul. Sticking to Matt. What college did London Fletcher go to in the Midwest?
I honestly don't know.
He went to John Carroll College. You know who also went to John Carroll?
Who?
Pat, do you know who also went to John Carroll?
No, I do not.
Oh boy. I thought it was Dable, but it's not. I think he actually went to Rochester. So Rochester, great program. I think they're like the Hornets or something like that. They're yellow. So at this point, we're going to declare Pat the winner. And we like to play a little game here. How autistic is student? I'll both give you guys 2 attempts at giving me a Division I college that have both a basketball program and a football program, and I will name their mascot. You guys both have 2 attempts to try and stump me. We'll go to Matt first. Matt,
Stump the student.
Stump the student.
Stump the student.
Stump the student. This is quite hard because I don't know. This is just something I'm very good at math. And this is just kind of my thing. Matt's tried to do this multiple times, and typically I get it almost immediately. So stump the student quickly in 5 seconds. Name me a Division I college that has both basketball and football, and I will try to name you their mascot. Go ahead.
San Diego State.
San Diego State would be the Aztecs. To Matt, or to Pat, sorry. So that student got 1. San Diego State. Name me a Division I football program and basketball program, and I will name you their mascot. Go ahead.
Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois. Salukis.
I think it's Huskies. Well, yeah.
Oh no, and I used the Huskies. They're red and black. Sorry, that's correct. The Huskies. So you got me on one. Good for you. Northern Illinois. Yeah, they're the Huskies. Very good, man. Northern Illinois. What am I? The Salukis would be not that. Who am I thinking of? Anyway, Matt, to you. Good stuff. I haven't been stumped in a while. Good for you. I should have known that. The Huskies. NIU. Yeah. Shit. My rain. That's the first time I probably got one wrong in 2 years.
It's been a while.
Real?
Ask Matt. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Northern, and I knew that one too. I should have took a little bit more time. And you know what the worst part is? Southern Illinois is the Salukis. Matt, to you. Five.
Let's go with UCF.
University of Central Florida is the Knights. Gabe Davis College. Very good. It's actually, I believe, the largest. It's either them or Liberty. They are the largest school in the nation. It's either UCF. Somebody check that in the chat. It's either Liberty University or UCF, the largest by student body, the largest school in the nation. UCF or Liberty, one of the two. Liberty would be the evangelical Christian school on the eastern coastline. I believe they're the Flames. But go ahead. Oh, it's Liberty.
Iowa.
Very good. Liberty is the biggest school in the country. Last one. Go ahead.
Iowa State.
Cyclones.
Yep.
Brees Hall.
That is correct.
What is APSU? Is that Appalachian State?
Awesome.
Yes.
That'd be the
Yep.
Mountaineers. Yep. You know who I remember from Appalachian State? Guy who never tied his shoes. What
Oh
the
no,
hell?
it's Austin P.
Fortunately, I don't believe they have a football team. Do they have a football team? Do they have a football team?
Austin Prey.
Austin P.
Yeah. I'm just reading the comments here.
Regardless if they have a football team or not, I believe their mascot's black and red. The Governors. Somebody check that. The Governors? That's my final answer. Josh, is that right?
We're just waiting on the chat here.
Waiting on the chat.
Pat, do you hear an echo at all?
Correct. Austin
No.
P University is the Governors. All right, guys. This was a hell of a show, guys.
It was. Almost ended it. And you guys came back like The Undertaker. Just
We did.
rose up.
Very fun. We do appreciate with the lag and everything like that. I think these are probably a couple duplicate listeners, all 300 of you guys that tune in. This was a very fun show. As we go into camp, let's pray for the health and wealth of all the players. Yep. No one gets hurt. Let's try to be supportive as a fan base. You know what I mean? Let's try to good competition battles. Let's all pick one player. One player that we're really rooting for to be different, to be the best selves they can be. Let's go around real quick. Who's the one player that we want to see really do it?
I'm going to go Kair.
You took my answer. Really do it. Mike Edwards.
Mike Edwards. Interesting.
Free safety.
Yep.
I want to see Spencer do big things.
Yep.
After that shoulder surgery. It looked like he put up 405 the other day, which I absolutely love.
Was it 405 or was it 450?
405. Four places 405, right?
Yep.
I'd love to see him do well. And Frank Gore Jr. I'd really like to see him earn a roster spot. How great would that be to see the lineage continue? You see Asante Samuel Jr. You see Christian McCaffrey. You see all the guys we grew up listening to. So I think it's fantastic. So I think that's the show tonight. Hey, that's the show, right?
Before we go, I do want to say thank you to Iliota Palos, 3785 South Park Avenue, Blaisdell, New York. Sons of Erie. Definitely check out that Marilyn Monroe painting. Hamburg Brewing out in Boston. New York, not Massachusetts.
Yep.
Beauty Pools and Soleil. So
Yeah.
definitely thank you to all of our sponsors.
This is my favorite part. Hey, Pat.
Good to be seen.
Good to be seen.